The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of Bermuda's Feel Good Early Morning Show. Good day, Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri alongside Jacky Lambert, and we are ready to bring you some feel good vibes this morning. Now, our feel good topic of the day is creative collaboration, and we are going to be talking with the founder of Gold, the label, Perri Furbert. Our feel good vibe of the day is a snippet of peace only, so you're going to want to make sure that you continue to watch this episode to see what that is all about. But before we get into all of that, let's see who's tuned in with us as we have started with our feel good warm up of the day. Now, I saw some comments coming in, Jacky, as we were sitting backstage, so let me just go ahead and bring this first one in. Sean Smith is here with us. Good morning to you, Sean Smith. Thank you once again for joining us bright and early in the morning. Audience, as you are joining today's show, do make sure that you drop in the comments your good morning greetings, because we're going to jump right into our feel good topic of the, our feel good warm up of the day. Jacky and I saw this particular, we're not even going to give it away because I don't want to spoil the fun for you all when we get to our feel good vibe, but we do want to ask you this question. It's a Friday. We're going to get ready for the weekend. Most people have really feel good vibes on the weekend. So we want to ask you this question. What does peace mean to you? And as we answer this question, y'all, make sure you drop that into the comments to let us know what your version of it is. And I see that we have David Michael Wilson joining us. Good morning to you, David. Thank you for joining us. I feel like you're a first timer or a first time commenter. I don't feel like I've been able to bring up your comment before. Do you remember? I don't think so.
I don't think so. But yeah. Welcome to the family.
Welcome to Good Day, Bermuda. So let's answer this question, audience. In the comments, let us know what peace means to you. And Jacky, obviously you and I have to get it started. So I need you to know, what does peace mean to you?
Gosh. So you asked this question and you're just like,
you have to, it's a loaded question, kind of, because it's one of those questions where, you could go with the Oxford Webster definition of peace, but that's just a generalization of the term, right? It's not necessarily your definition. So like when you think of peace, what does that word kind of do for you?
Like when I think of peace, I think of, coming home after a long day. I've done everything on my task list. I get home, I get a shower, and I just lay there. And though you hear the noise outside, it's just that
that release.
Like the day is done. It was successful. I feel great. I have no tension or anxiety because I didn't finish something. It's just like, here. I'm here. Mm-hmm. I'm done. And then I think about, when it's real quiet outside, but it's not actually quiet because we're in Bermuda, so you hear the tree frogs.
Yeah, tree frogs.
And it's just, nothing can bother you. Like I've experienced it, and it's probably like, one of those weird moments. Right. I had tweeted how I rode to work the other day and there was nothing. Like I didn't have a red light.
All the green lights.
I got all the green lights. I had no stop signs, nothing. Like I literally just rode through work as if it was destined for me to have a great day, and nothing went wrong. It was just a peaceful day. Like no arguments, nothing. I was so at peace. And then I also think of like Kung Fu Panda, right? I can't remember what the sensei's name was, but
I forget his name too.
He was saying like he was finally at peace. Nothing could bother him. He was so in touch with himself, and it's like living in your truth without having to deal with any outside noise really bothering you. Like there's so many different definitions of peace.
You can go so many different ways with it, right? And
Yes.
so I just want to come back to the comments. So it looks like David Michael Wilson. This is his first time commenting on the show. So thank you for joining us in the comments. Since you've been watching us, you kind of know how the flow goes. And he says to him, peace means the feeling of tranquility and security. And I feel like the idea of security is something that kind of gets glossed over when people think about peace, because when you do have a sense of like, security, things aren't going to go wrong, or you have a backup if things go wrong, that can bring you a sense of like inner peace and a sense of like, you know what, even if things don't go my way today, everything else in my life is set up in a way that I'll be okay at the end of the day. And I think that that's a really awesome definition. I think for me, it's definitely the ability to be in my own space, in myself, without letting anyone else kind of disturb my space. So like, if someone else is having a bad day, not taking that on, that to me is a sense of peace, because I can empathize with you if you're having a bad day, but I don't have to take that on. And I think getting to that point took some time. Now, we didn't get to this overnight, y'all. That took some work. But I definitely think that being able to just be around so many different people and still being able to like maintain my level of protection, shall we say, that's definitely been one of the ways that I have defined peace in the past. And then also working out brings a sense of peace. Like being active is peace to me. Like being able to use my limbs, being able to, walk to where I want to go and move about freely is a sense of peace, because I know that there are parts of the world where that's not the case. And then being a woman, there's other things that, kind of keep us, shall we say, oppressed. So that I think is a sense of peace that not everyone has, unfortunately, because, everyone has their own idea.
Yeah, I really love this question because it's peace is important to everybody. You always see people posting stuff like, I have enough going on, be my peace. Like you want to come home, like in a relationship or a friendship. It's like, and we're always going through stuff. And I just realized like being alone is my peace. And I'm not saying like, being alone and being single. I mean like, coming home and being alone is my peace, especially after a long day of taking on everybody else's energy. So knowing that I can come home and be fine by myself is peace in itself, because like you said, it's a sense of just security that you know that you're straight and like nobody's outside burdens and drama is going to disturb that, because you're just there. It's just you. It's just
absolutely. And it looks like we have a comment from Sean Smith. He says that peace to him means quiet, stressless, spiritual at a rest. And I think that all of those things definitely, to me, also define peace. And I think because peace, and we talked about it, this is such a loaded question, but then there's also there's different aspects of everyone's life where peace is one thing, whereas in another aspect it might be a different thing. Like, because we just talked about relationships, right? And like in a relationship, we're not saying that we want to be alone, like away from that person, but the idea of coming to your home and it being a space where you can kind of not have to be so engaged with people in the way that you are when you're outside. I think that's, there's so many ways that we can get into comments. So audience, as you're joining us, do let us know in the comments, what does peace mean to you? We had this Feel Good warm up in honor of today's guest and a recent release that she did. We're actually going to get into that a little bit later on as she is joining us for today's Feel Good topic. I want to get into a few more comments before we have our first commercial break of the episode, and then we will start to talk with our guest of the day, Perri Furbert. So when you were talking about the other part of what peace means to you, Jack. My main girl said 100, so I think she 100% agrees with you. I'm assuming that's what that means. I don't see the percent sign or the like. I don't know if we could see that 100 emoji if she did that on Twitter.
Really?
But we're gonna say that she agrees with you because that's what I think she means. And then it looks like Anika DeShields is tuned in with us. Good morning to you, Nika. And I see we have a comment from Jody Virgil. We're gonna get into that before we switch over to our commercial, Jack.
Morning all, great question. Early morning walks, knowing that I've done my best, not trying for perfection. Decluttered spaces. Oh my God, decluttered spaces. I am so close to throwing everything away because I'm sick of organizing. I'm sick of folding, and I really just want to live a minimalist lifestyle because it just brings so much more peace. Like
it does.
I'm decluttering everything.
Things carry energy, and I know Jody Virgil is someone who does organization. So I feel like we're gonna have to have a conversation with her because between my overactive mind and my overactive space, there needs to be some decluttering happening because it's just too much. We're gonna get into one last comment actually before we go into our commercial break, Jack. This one is from Anika DeShields. She says, "Feel free to relax and be yourself." I absolutely agree with that as well. So we're gonna take our first commercial break of the episode, and then we'll be back to switch to our feel-good topic of the day, which is creative collaboration. We have Perri Furbert of Gold, the label, backstage, and we are excited to bring her answer. Do make sure you don't go anywhere.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert, and we are excited for today's Feel Good topic on creative collaboration with Perri Furbert. Perri is the multidisciplinary creative behind Gold, the label. Her focus is on product design, which is what she produces through Gold, the label. She also does wardrobe styling and colorful storytelling in various mediums. She is a ratchet dreamer and doer, which I personally can relate to. I don't know about you, Jackie, but when I read that on her bio, I was like, oh my God, that is so me. Like, that makes so much sense. I am like a little bit of both. What about you?
Probably. I define myself, but I don't define myself because it's like so much to define. Like, have you met me? It's so much.
We see you on the show, Jack, every day, and we're always like, you know what? That's just another one to add to the list of things we have learned about Jackie today. So without further ado, we're going to bring Perri into the studio. Good morning, Perri.
Morning.
How are you doing this morning?
Oh.
Do you have AirPods? I think they may have connected. So we're just going to give Perri a minute to get her AirPods. So we're drop her backstage real quick because I actually want to go back to Jody's comment. She says, last items, last thinking. She is her own client. LOL, anytime, ladies. So it looks like we could definitely get Jody to have a conversation with Jackie and I, because if you were just joining us for our Feel Good warm up today, we had, what does peace mean to you? We did this in honor of today's guest. She just recently released a new product. And so we'll actually talk with her. We're going to bring her back into the studio because it looks like she has her headphones in. So Perri, can you hear us? I think you're still muted. I don't know. We can't hear you.
You might have to jump out and then jump back in.
No. We'll
Yeah,
okay. Good thing Jackie and I can read lips. She said she would be right back, y'all. And
yes.
So we'll actually just let you know.
You think that's a sibling thing? I feel like that's a sibling thing, reading lips. Because me and my sister used to be like, my mom would be wrenching me or telling me to do something, and Crystal and be behind me, antagonize me. I'm just like, Mom, Crystal's chastising me behind your back.
And you're the youngest, right?
Yes. Because
you're the youngest.
We used to do the whole Three Musketeers. It's three of us. So all for one and one for all. And, my sister's keeper type of stuff. So if I got in trouble, she got in trouble. Or Tara got in trouble.
Vice versa.
So we're all gonna go down together. So I'm just like, how am I the only one getting in trouble right now? We always get in trouble together. Like, I'm the youngest. This should be their problem. Like, they're supposed to be watching me.
You're the youngest. This is exactly
like, why am I getting in trouble when they're the babysitters? This is not fair.
Absolutely not. So I want to get into this comment because I see Perri is backstage. I wouldn't actually get into this comment when we asked, what does peace mean to you? Carmen Mitchell-Jones says, quiet, serenity, calmness, soothing smells, and music. So we're going to bring Perri into the conversation because our feel-good warm-up was in honor of her, and our feel-good vibe is also in honor of her. So today is the Perri show, so we're going to bring Perri back in. Perri, can you hear us? And let's see if we can hear you.
We can hear
Hello.
We can hear Perri. The technology.
I am so sorry. Oh my goodness.
Good morning. Good morning. So we wanted to know, clearly we know that today is going to be a great day for Perri, Jacky, and I, because we have already worked out the kinks that we need to work out. So Perri,
and because we say so.
Yeah. We say so. We claim it over our lives. And we're going to get into all of that because I've followed you personally online. Jacky knows you personally in real life, and we've seen you on the Daily Hour before. But for those of us who this may be the first time they're seeing you and your brand, can you let them know how Gold the Label got started?
Gold the Label unofficially got started when I was little, revamping and creating new items out of old items, sometimes brand new items. And then when I went off to college, that kind of followed me there. And the business was birthed pretty much overnight after sharing my items in a Facebook album. So here we are. That's really how it went.
Now, of course, I know you, so I've always known you as super creative. I remember you starting, people know you for your frames and your little, what's the bags? The
bucket bags.
The bucket bags. And I have the shades, I have the bucket bags. But you also started off with, remixing shoes, and you've also worked with many other creators as well. I just want to know, what aspect of the process gives you the most satisfaction?
The end.
Of all of it.
No, I think conceptualization is actually my favorite. In practicality, the end, yes, because it really is a lot of work. So when you get to see the fruit of your labor at the end, that really is a satisfying and gratifying feeling. But conception is by far my favorite when I get to sit down and design, right? Whether it's conceptualizing for a shoot, depending on my role. That's a different form of storytelling that I absolutely love, because once it's finished, we get to move on to something else, right? And that's how I feel about my products. So at the onset of a new product, it's exciting. Once we have the design and the framework together, it becomes more of a repeat, and then we just change the colors and then what I'm inspired by and how it can kind of fit in with the rest of the collection. But the beginning, the onset, that's really what gets me going, because then I get to decide what I want to say.
So you just said inspired by inspiration. And I just want to know, what inspires you to be this creative? What are some examples of things that have, inspired you? For example, some of your frames.
Well, Judah is heavily inspired by the 70s. I absolutely love the 70s. Big hair, sequins, and cutouts. And it's just, I don't know why I wasn't born then, right? Because it's so me. So that was definitely the inspiration behind that. Plus, my own personal collection of sunglasses is just filled with very oversized frames. I have a bit of a round face, and I've always been drawn to them. Ever since I was young, I have pictures in huge frames. So that's where Judah started. And then inspiration on a whole comes from my life. What's moving me at the time, what's inspiring me at the time, what's grabbing my attention, or what I'm personally going through. Our Peace Only campaign was a message that I needed everyone to resonate with, or at least hear, because it's so important, because I felt like at one point I didn't have it, right? As much as I maybe appeared that I had it, I didn't. So once I finally found it, I was like, oh my God. I was saying peace only to myself before. And then I'm like, this needs to be presented. So that's just an example of how they come about. Things that happen in my world and what I'm currently moved by, it 9 times out of 10 filters into my work, because there always has to be a bigger message.
You always seem way before everybody's time. Like you had actually styled a celebrity that she had the red dress, the red stockings. I don't know if you
Cangelay.
Yes. And then what was it, like a month later, other people started to do that.
Yeah.
So I just like, how does that happen? And how does it feel to know that you're before everybody else? Like, you're setting the trend.
To be a trendsetter, yeah.
Well, thank you. It's not, and I take that. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I think I just go with a feeling. So that initially wasn't what I wanted for her. I wanted her to be in the red dress because that's something that she selected that she wanted to wear with, she had an agreement or a friendship. I think it was a friendship with the designer of that dress. And I wanted to put her in thigh-high boots because I'm like, this would look so dope. And we couldn't find what I needed. I had an assistant that was in LA and I was in Toronto. So I was like virtually, I'm so sorry for the sun.
That's fine. That's good.
We were virtually. Need the glue. We appreciate it.
I know, but then I look like a Oompa Loompa. So it just gets way too orange. I'm sorry. Let me just see if I can. There we go. Right. So I was virtually doing everything and my assistant, he was great, but we just couldn't find what we needed and we were running out of time because of the red carpet, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, let's scrap that. Let's mimic this and let's take it up another step because I wanted to hit, and we did red fishnets and some red pumps and it just was so fire. So
I loved it.
It's to answer the question, it's a feeling. I go with my gut. I know what doesn't look right. Like, nah, that's trash. We need to scrap that. Like, we need to figure this out. And it works out. Trust your gut.
I love that. I actually wanted to circle back to when you said you don't know why you weren't born in the 70s, because we needed you as millennials. We needed you to bring that inspiration to us because I know I've personally purchased it's escaping me now, the ebook. I can't remember like the full title of it, but I purchased the ebook.
Okay.
I needed to sort my personal wardrobe out. And so I just want to let the audience know, whether you love the 70s or not, Perri can help you get your life together. So if you have any questions for her, please drop them in the comments because she is probably worth, if not should be charging way more than what she charges. And y'all are going to get some free game today. So by all means, ask her your questions because when the price goes up, like Jadakiss, the price will go up.
Listen, Fat Joe said right after that, he was like, what did he say? He did like a live after the verses and he was like, the price is not the same today that it was yesterday. And I'm like, facts, sir.
Yes.
These were the facts. And they just got added to the Lovers and Friends, like the locks just got added. And I'm like, see? I was like, see, y'all, the price went up. Better pay attention.
I'm loving Perri playing hopscotch right now.
I'm like this is the best place for the lighting in my place. So
that's fun.
Yeah.
You came out with a campaign recently. You just talked about it, and you used young Black man to describe what they call peace. Mm-hmm. Why young Black man?
I wanted to challenge the stereotype of male vulnerability, right? And to encourage it, even if it's subconsciously, because like I mentioned earlier, everything that I produce has to have a meaning, right? It has to have some sort of substance, and it has to impact people in some kind of way. So like all of our sunglasses are named after biblical elements. So even if you aren't a Christian or you've had bad experiences with Christianity, maybe this can be a reintroduction in a cool way, you know? So everything has to have a bigger purpose, because if not, I'm just another person designing sunglasses, hats, and bags. And like, do we really need more of that, right? Mm-hmm. If we're being honest, because I could be honest about that. So it has to mean something. All of my bags are named after family members because I believe in giving people their roses while they're here, right? So my family carries things, so it makes sense for my bags to be named after my family. So with this campaign, I'm like, this is very personal for me. And I, of course, can style a really dope editorial and like hit people with some fly looks, but like, what then, right? So I wanted to release this in more of a sobering way, and we had a lot of fun on set. I'm very grateful for the guys who came. I feel like they were like perfect because we had a longer list, but you know how that goes. So the 6 that were left, I'm like in awe every time I watch it because there's more episodes to come. And yeah, I wanted to challenge that, and I wanted us to hear about peace from Black males, because do they really have it in this world, right? So yeah.
That makes me so happy because I was hoping that was the response, obviously. Because I'm constantly tweeting some type of thing about, Black man. I love seeing Black men smile. We were talking about sexual harassment yesterday. I'm just like, I'm sure some of my people are just like, this girl is crazy, because I will walk down and I'll see my friends. I'm like, you're just so beautiful. And they'll smile. I'm like, look at you. And you can see them blush and it just gets bigger. I'm just like,
that's
yes,
great.
it got to us. I love that. Now, you used to sell the girlfriends t-shirts. I want to know if those are coming back out. I want to know if the crew neck. Oh, they won't. That's so
not anytime soon. Put it
okay.
Like that.
Okay. And are you doing any winter wear? Because I know you had the one point you're doing hoodies, and then you were doing the regular just sweat tops.
Possibly. I'm so because everything has to be right. Finding the right fabric that matches what we used to use is just really difficult. And then with COVID, it's like another layer of like complicated crap. Sorry, but it's just the only way to describe it. And yeah. So if I can figure it out in the window to get everything ready before, then yes. But it's been quite a challenge, which I am 100% up for. I love hunting and figuring things out, but hoodies are a special little niche, right? Because we don't do pilling, we don't do hoodies that aren't soft, we don't do cheap hoodies. So to get it right takes a bit of a science, and here we are. So maybe.
We will definitely be staying tuned for that. I actually wanted to ask a question, because you mentioned that Go with the Label started when you were in Toronto. Now you're back here in Bermuda. Do you have any plans to possibly relocate once again? Are you planning on going back to Canada? Do you have any other cities in mind? And if so, like, what's the plan for that?
I would definitely like to relocate. I love Bermuda, but it has so many limitations, and I don't know, as a small business owner, you also feel like there's no support from the government. Like, they say that there is, but there isn't. Unless you're not visible enough, but I don't really know. Because then that's another, I'll leave that. But it's difficult to do it here. On top of the import prices, it is extremely expensive to bring things into this country. And then the process to get them, I talked about this when I was on the Daily Hour, it's just a nightmare, Not every time it's like that. And I know that it's not like one entity that needs to be blamed. I know Customs 100% gets a lot of flack, but it's not always them, right? A lot of times it is, but a lot of times it isn't, right? So there's a weak link in the chain, and it makes it even more difficult to operate here, because running a small business as your main gig is already stressful.
Right.
Fun, but there's a lot of work that goes into just existing, right? And being successful and feeding yourself and keeping your lights on, and it's just a lot, right? So, and then creating quality stuff. So to have external operations slow you down because of an antiquated mindset it's too much. So to answer your question, yes, I would like to leave, but of course, with the state of the world right now, it is a little bit difficult to move around freely. So whenever I can wrap my head around which place works, I will be gone. But for now, here we are. And I'm grateful, because Bermuda does serve for a lot of inspiration.
We love it. So we have an audience question coming from Sherry Vanderpool. She wants to know, will we see any of your items in major stores eventually?
Not sure. I've had conversations, but it's always a conversation about money. Ultimately, just to be frank, it doesn't make sense sugarcoating that. It has to work for us, and everyone is in a weird space right now. So I understand from every standpoint why they may be.
Oh, we lost the audio again. Did we lose the? Oh, we lost the
Yeah,
audio.
we
Again.
lost the audio. So jump out and jump back.
Yeah, we
Sorry.
need to jump back. It's okay. The conversation was going so great. That, you know what that is? That's the devil. That's that bad energy. That bad energy trying to just come in. Audience,
It's not gonna break our peace there, because
we won't break our peace, because peace only. We want to know, audience. Drop any comments or questions you have for Perri, because when we bring her back in, we're going to slowly wrap up the conversation with her, but we do want to get some of your audience questions in. So do make sure you drop those questions in the comments. I see Perri is backstage. We're going to bring her in. We can hear you.
Yay.
So I think we got most of the answer for the major stores question. I wanted to ask about the collaboration with Kanjali and other creators that you've done. How important is it for you to work with not only local, creatives, but creatives from other parts of the world? And how has that helped your process and, help you evolve as a creative?
I love learning from people. We don't have all of the answers for most things. We know what we know, but perspective is like everything, and having conversations and creatively collaborating with other individuals like you, especially other individuals who look like you, is so powerful, right? Especially because of the conversation of representation. So I like it. Do I run to do it with just any and everyone? No, because not everything fits, and truthfully not everything works, because creatives are very sensitive people, and people, let me clean that up. People who are tapped into their creativity are very sensitive people, because everyone can be creative, but not everyone's tapped into it. So for those who are, they're very passionate and sensitive about what they do. And it can be a disaster if you move into it too quickly without a bit of wisdom. So yeah, I enjoy the process. I haven't always had great success with the process. Of course, the public only sees what has worked, but yeah, I really enjoy it. And I think it's important to collaborate to tell joint stories when it makes sense. Yeah.
That's awesome. I do see an audience question coming in, which kind of ties into our final question for the conversation. But what you just said about like when it doesn't work out with the creative, I don't know if the audience knows this, but Perri does a lot of behind the scenes content on her page. And she has done a few where it's been about small business and some tips and things that she's learned along her journey. So Perri, can you talk about the importance of doing that, or why you do it? Like, why do you choose to be that vulnerable in this space? Because most times you see successful business owners and you don't see when they're in the trenches. You don't see them boxing all of their products together. You don't know what work they put into, because I got the bucket bag, and let me tell you, I was so impressed. Like I almost cried, because like the
Thank you.
The intricate detail of the foam around the bag, around the different handles, just the car, like everything about the unboxing process to me was like, oh my god,
thank you.
Like the most expensive bag on the planet, because there's so much detail and there's so much love in this packaged product. So just talk about like, how you are sharing your journey with your audience.
It's important because we are a small business, and I think small business owners that happen to be Black owned, Black run, Black founded get the shortest end of the stick. We have a lot of pressure on us from people who look like us, which is so strange. I haven't wrapped my mind around why we're so hard on ourselves, but then we give Louis Vuitton a break, because I've had many Louis Vuitton things fall apart, and when they do, I have to pay to get it fixed, or that's the end of that bag. Now, if my bag fell apart, it would be on Marge's list.
Yeah.
So, one, I share that so people understand, like, this is not a machine here. This is me and my team, and a lot of times it is just me. So that, but also for the transparency of it, for other business owners who are like me, or who are in a position that I once found myself in, and they're like, how is she there? And it's like blood, sweat, and tears, a whole lot of prayer, a whole lot of tears. So I think it's important for people to see everything, right? And where I can give free game, I do, because no one gave that to me. I had to fail a lot, and I'm not where I would like to be, but I'm very grateful for the trajectory we're on, and for the journey we've taken, because it's been 11 years and I've learned a lot in 11 years. So if I can minimize that for someone else, especially someone else who looks like me, I'm going to do that. So that was kind of loaded, but yeah.
I love it. I love it. Super inspired by it as well. So, Perri, as we wrap up, we want to thank you once again. Tech difficulties have been all over
everything.
the road. We are going to have the phenomenal. We're going to have the most phenomenal day. So, Sean Smith has this question: where do you see yourself and the brand within the next 5 to 10 years? But as you answered that, can you let the audience know how they can connect with you? How can they get the piece only trucker hat? Is it sold out yet? If they want to eye the bag, if they want the Exodus frames, let them know how they can keep up with you.
Okay, so I'll answer the question first. The next 10 years, I don't know. Hopefully with some kids and some more stability with that, because I would love to be a mom. So on a personal front, that. But the brand, I would love for us to be expanded 10 times more. How about that? I'm waiting for our shoes to hit the scene. It's been such a problem child. I feel like those are the ones that make you the most proud, though. So waiting on that. But just to expand and to really anchor in more on our messaging, because like I said before, it is about the messaging and it is about the purpose behind everything. Because if not, it's just some more bags, some more shoes and sunglasses. And we consume way too much anyway. So if you're going to buy something from us, it has to impact you, right? So I pray and I hope that in the next 10 years, we have even more of a social and spiritual impact on our community, more than anything else, because that's what's important. So yeah.
That's awesome.
And where you can find us, goldthelabel.com. We are an online business. So anyone who is brand new here, there's no in-person collection because we are an online business. So we ship through DHL. Locally, there is next day delivery after your order is purchased. That's important. It's not next day after you place your order, after processing, which can take up to 7 to 14 business days, but doesn't. But that is the disclaimer because we're a small team and there's a lot of customers. Thank God for that. So we are online and we might have our hats in a particular location very soon, but I won't say that until we dot all our I's and cross all our T's.
Love it. Absolutely.
Oh, and you can follow us on social. Everything is at Gold the Label. Not the Gold Label. Anything the Gold Label is me personally, and I might not let you in. Piece only.
Yes.
But Gold the Label is the business, and that's on everything. And you're welcome to that party.
Love it. We're sending love and gratitude to you, Perri, for joining us this morning. And we're going to take a quick commercial break before we get into the Feel Good Wind Down and our Feel Good Vibe of the Day, which is a snippet of Perri's piece in the campaign. So you do want to make sure that you keep watching today's episode. Once again, thank you so much, Perri.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Have a good day.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jacky Lambert. As we wind down today's episode, make sure to give us a reaction if you're watching on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button. And to all of our peeps over there on Twitter, make sure you run up those hearts. Before we get into our Feel Good Vibe of the Day, let us know in the comments a key takeaway from today's episode of Good Day Bermuda. Let us know, what did you love about our conversation with Perri. Jacky is obviously going to start this off, but let us know the one thing she loved about today's episode. So what did you love about the conversation with Perri, Jack?
She has a message behind everything that she does, and she always puts that into her product. She's just brilliant. She's full of love, full of light, and she just is herself. Like, you know how people try to mimic other people? Perri has always been herself and always been a great role model, great inspiration, a great friend. And I just wish her nothing but the best, honestly.
I love it. I had to mute myself because I just realized I didn't download the video. So I'm like behind the scenes, pulling in the video, trying to be all incognito about it.
It happens. I mean, I could talk for hours about Perri because
We know.
You know?
We know. Well, we know you can talk about any topic for hours if we needed to,
I'm a
Jack. So you
talker.
are the best. One thing about Jack, she's the best co-host, because even if she doesn't know she's giving me time, she's giving me time. So we have this comment from Carmen Mitchell Jens. She says her honesty.
She's so transparent. Like,
oh my
so
gosh.
transparent.
And that's why I wanted to ask her that question, Aron, because I have watched some of her lives and she has like shared tea. And I've just been like, wow, you just never know what someone else's like journey has taken them through, and how much it took for them to get to where they are. So without further ado, we are going to get into our feel good vibe of the day. As we mentioned, it is going to be a snippet of Perri's Peace Only campaign. We're only going to play a little bit of it because we want you to head over to her Instagram account and make sure you watch the whole video. At Gold the Label is the Instagram. So without further ado, we do hope you enjoy.
What does the word peace mean to me? That's a good question. It represents brightness, clarity, and just paradise.
Enjoying life, taking it as it comes.
Now,
You see those smiles?
The smiles. It's the black boy joy for me. So we are going to, let me just rewind and start this back all over. We hope that today's Feel Good Vibe has you ready to make it a great day. As always, we trust we will see you next week for another week of Feel Good Conversations. Same time, same place. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jacky Lambert. Until the next episode, peace and have a good day, Bermuda.